Anakin ignited his lightsaber. But not against Mace Windu. Against the man he'd trusted for years. "I won't do it," Anakin said, his voice trembling. "I won't destroy them." Palpatine's smile vanished. His yellow eyes burned with fury. "Then you are a fool, Skywalker, and you will die with them." Anakin didn't wait. He turned and sprinted from the office, his heart pounding. Behind him, he could hear Palpatine's twisted laughter echoing through the halls. The Chancellor, no, the Sith Lord, was already 10 steps ahead. Anakin knew the clones had their orders. Across the galaxy, Jedi were already dying. But the temple, he could still save the temple. Anakin tore through the Senate corridors, leaping over railings and using the Force to propel himself faster. His comlink crackled to life. "General Skywalker, where are you? We're awaiting your command." It was Commander Appo, the 501st, his men. "Stand down," Anakin barked. "Do not approach the temple. That's an order." Silence. Then, "Sir, we have orders from the Supreme Chancellor." Anakin's blood ran cold. He cut the link and ran harder. Minutes later, he burst into the temple's main hall. Younglings screamed, masters turned, lightsabers raised. They didn't know if he was friend or foe. "It's a trap!" Anakin shouted, his voice echoing off the ancient walls. "Palpatine is the Sith Lord! The clones are coming! Seal the doors! Now!" Confusion rippled through the room. Some hesitated, others acted. Master Shak Ti stepped forward, her eyes sharp. "Anakin, what have you done?" "I stopped myself from making the worst mistake of my life," he said, "but we're out of time." Outside, the sound of gunfire erupted. The 501st had arrived. The temple doors shook under the assault. Anakin stood at the front, lightsaber ignited, flanked by a dozen Jedi Knights. Behind them, the younglings were being rushed into the underground hangars. Every second mattered. "Hold the line!" Anakin shouted. "Don't let them through!" The doors exploded inward. Clone troopers poured in, blasters raised. Anakin didn't hesitate. He deflected the first volley, sending bolts back into the ranks. Beside him, Jedi Masters moved like shadows, cutting through the clones with precision and sorrow. These were their men, their friends. But the clones showed no hesitation, no mercy. Their eyes were blank, their movements robotic. The chip in their heads had turned them into weapons. "Fall back to the second level," Anakin ordered. "We can't hold here." The Jedi retreated, step by step, covering each other. Anakin's mind raced. He knew clone tactics better than anyone. He'd trained with these men, fought beside them. Now he was using that knowledge to kill them. It made him sick. Commander Appo's voice crackled over the fallen clone's comms. "All units, target Skywalker. He's been compromised by the Jedi. Execute on sight." Anakin's jaw tightened. Palpatine had already rewritten the story. Anakin wasn't a hero anymore. He was the enemy. More clones flooded in. ATTEs rolled up the temple steps, cannons charging. Anakin cursed. They were bringing in heavy artillery. "Anakin," Shak Ti's voice cut through the chaos. "We've evacuated the younglings, but the masters on Coruscant, they're being hunted. We're getting reports from across the city. The clones are killing everyone." Anakin's chest tightened. Obi-Wan, Yoda, they were still out there, unreachable. "Then we buy them time," Anakin said. "We hold this temple until they return." An explosion rocked the hall. The ATTE fired. The war for the Jedi Order had begun. Obi-Wan Kenobi felt it before he saw it. A cold wave in the Force, a scream that rippled across the stars. Jedi were dying, everywhere. On Utapau, he barely escaped Commander Cody's shot. The blast missed him by inches as he plunged into the sinkhole. His Jedi instinct saved his life. Across the galaxy, most weren't so lucky. Yoda felt it too. On Kashyyyk, the Wookiees roared in confusion as the clones turned their weapons. Yoda deflected the shots with his lightsaber, his ancient heart heavy with grief. The clones, their brothers, were lost. Both masters commandeered ships and set course for Coruscant. They had to know. They had to see. When Obi-Wan's starfighter descended through Coruscant's atmosphere, he expected ruins, smoke, death. What he found was a battlefield. The Jedi Temple still stood, barely. Clone battalions surrounded it. Gunships circled, but the temple's shields were holding. Inside, he could feel dozens of Jedi, alive, fighting. And at the center of it all, Anakin. Obi-Wan landed in a side hangar, slipping past clone patrols. He entered through a maintenance shaft and emerged into chaos. Jedi Knights defended the corridors. Younglings huddled in meditation chambers. And there, in the central atrium, Anakin Skywalker fought like a man possessed. "Anakin!" Obi-Wan called out. Anakin spun, lightsaber raised. When he saw his former master, relief flooded his face. "Obi-Wan, you're alive." "As are you," Obi-Wan said, stepping closer. I feared you'd—" "I almost did," Anakin admitted. "But I didn't. Palpatine is Darth Sidious. He gave the order. I tried to stop it." Before Obi-Wan could respond, Yoda's voice echoed from the shadows. "Stop it, you could not. But save many, you did." Yoda emerged, his expression unreadable. He looked at Anakin with ancient knowing eyes. "A choice you made. The right one, perhaps. But ended. This is not." Anakin nodded. "I know. Palpatine controls the Senate, the clones, the entire Republic. We're trapped." Yoda's ears drooped. "Then fight. We must." Palpatine stood in his office, gazing out at the burning city. His plan had been perfect, elegant. The Jedi would fall, Anakin would kneel, and the galaxy would be his. But Skywalker had defied him. The boy's sentimentality had cost him everything. No matter. The Jedi Temple would burn, and Anakin would die screaming. "Intensify the assault," Palpatine ordered. "I want every clone battalion on Coruscant converging on the temple. Use gunships, walkers, burn it to the ground if you must." Commander Fox saluted. "Yes, my lord." Within minutes, the skies over the temple darkened. Dozens of LAT gunships descended, missiles locked. ATTEs advanced up the steps, their cannons glowing. Clone commandos rappelled from the upper levels, breaching windows and skylights. Inside, alarms blared. "They're coming from above!" a Jedi Knight shouted. Anakin sprinted to the upper corridors, Obi-Wan at his side. Yoda remained below, coordinating the evacuation. The temple was a fortress, but it wasn't built to withstand a Republic military assault. "We can't hold them forever," Obi-Wan said, deflecting blaster fire from a window. "I know," Anakin replied. "We need to go after Palpatine. End this at the source." "And leave the younglings?" Obi-Wan's voice was sharp. Anakin's jaw clenched. "If we don't stop him, they're dead anyway." A missile struck the eastern tower. The entire structure shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Screams echoed from below. Yoda's voice crackled over the comms. "Hold much longer, we cannot. Decide, we must." Anakin looked at Obi-Wan. "You get them out. I'll go after Palpatine." "Anakin, no." "He wants me, Obi-Wan. This is my fault. Let me finish it." Obi-Wan hesitated, then nodded. "Don't make me regret this." Anakin turned and ran toward the hangar, his destination, the Senate building. Palpatine was waiting. Anakin kicked open the Chancellor's office door. Palpatine stood by the window, hands folded behind his back. He didn't turn. "I wondered how long it would take," Palpatine said calmly.
"You always were predictable, Anakin."
"It's over," Anakin said, igniting his lightsaber. "The Jedi know the truth. The Senate will know. You've lost." Palpatine laughed. A cold, hollow sound. "Lost? My boy, I've already won. The Republic is mine. The clones are mine. And soon, your precious Padme will watch you die, just before I take her too." Anakin's vision turned red. He lunged. Palpatine spun, twin red blades igniting in his hands. The clash was deafening. Sparks flew. The office furniture exploded under the force of their strikes. Palpatine moved like a shadow, his strikes precise and venomous. Anakin fought with raw power, each swing fueled by desperation and fury. He thought of Padme, of the younglings. Of every Jedi who died because of this monster. You could have been my greatest weapon, Palpatine hissed, their blades locked. Now you're just another corpse. Anakin shoved him back and unleashed a furious combination. Palpatine deflected, countered, and sent Force lightning crackling toward Anakin's chest. Anakin caught it on his blade, the energy sizzling and spitting. "You're weak, Skywalker," Palpatine snarled. "You cling to hope, to love. It makes you pathetic." Anakin roared and pressed forward. His strikes came faster, harder. Palpatine's grin faltered. For the first time, the Emperor realized he might lose. The duel spilled onto the Chancellor's balcony. Below, the city burned. Gunships circled. The galaxy was at war. Anakin swung with everything he had. Palpatine blocked, but his footing slipped. He staggered. And Anakin saw his opening. Anakin stood over Palpatine, his lightsaber humming inches from the Sith Lord's throat. Palpatine looked up, bloodied and beaten, and smiled. "Do it," he rasped. "Strike me down. Let your anger consume you. Become what you were meant to be." Anakin's hand trembled. The dark side clawed at his mind. It would be so easy. One strike, one thrust. Palpatine would be gone. But Anakin would become him. He saw it clearly now. The path Palpatine had laid for him. Every manipulation, every lie, every whisper of power and fear, it all led here, to this moment, to this choice. Kill him in anger, and fall. Anakin lowered his blade. Palpatine's eyes widened. "What are you—" Anakin reached out with the Force, gripping Palpatine's robes. "I won't be your weapon," he said quietly. "Not now. Not ever." And then he jumped. He pulled Palpatine with him, off the balcony, into the open air. The wind roared. The city blurred. Palpatine screamed, clawing at Anakin, unleashing torrents of Force lightning. Anakin held on. He thought of Padme, of their unborn child, of the Jedi he'd saved, of Obi-Wan, of everything worth dying for. The ground rushed up to meet them. Anakin closed his eyes. And then, impact. Silence. In the Senate Plaza, clone troopers and Jedi alike stopped fighting. They stared at the broken bodies below. Emperor Palpatine and Anakin Skywalker, both dead. But across the galaxy, something shifted. The dark side receded. The Sith Lord was gone. The shroud was lifting. Obi-Wan felt it. He collapsed to his knees in the temple hangar. "No, Anakin." Yoda closed his eyes, fulfilled the prophecy he has. Balance, at last. The Chosen One had destroyed the Sith, but the cost was everything. No more blaster fire. No more explosions. Just the sound of grief. Obi-Wan stood in the council chamber, staring at the empty chair where Anakin should have sat. Around him, the surviving masters gathered. Shaak Ti, Kit Fisto, Yoda, a handful of others. So many were gone. "We must address what happened," Master Fisto said quietly. "Anakin Skywalker saved us. But he also kept secrets. He married in secret. He worked with Palpatine. He died to stop the Sith," Obi-Wan interrupted, his voice sharp. "He gave everything." "And nearly cost us everything," another master countered. "If he'd told us about Palpatine sooner, we wouldn't have believed him," Obi-Wan snapped. "The council was blind. We all were." Yoda raised his hand. The room fell silent. "Right, Obi-Wan is. And wrong also. Clouded, Anakin's path was. Attachment, fear, secrecy. These led him to darkness. But turn back, he did. Rare, that is. Powerful. So what do we do?" Shaak Ti asked. "Do we honor him, or do we condemn him?" The question hung in the air. Obi-Wan closed his eyes. "We remember him, as he truly was. Flawed, human, but good. In the end, he was good." Yoda nodded slowly. "Agree, I do. But change. The order must. Rebuild. We will. But differently. Attachments, secrets, pride. Learn from these. We must. Or repeat this. We will. The council murmured in agreement. But the tension remained. Some believed Anakin was a hero. Others believed he was a warning. Outside the chamber, Padme Amidala sat alone in a meditation room, her hands resting on her swollen belly. She hadn't spoken since they told her. She couldn't. Anakin was gone. She felt the babies move inside her. Twins, a boy and a girl. They would never know their father, never hear his voice, never feel his love. But they would know his sacrifice. Padme whispered into the silence. You saved them, Anakin. You saved everyone. Tears fell. The galaxy was free. But the price was unbearable. Pain everywhere. His body was shattered. Burns covered his skin. His right arm was gone, replaced by a crude medical droid's prosthetic. He was in a Bacta tank, deep in the Jedi Temple's medical wing. He'd survived. Barely. Obi-Wan was there when he woke. Tears streamed down his former master's face. You reckless, foolish, beautiful idiot, Obi-Wan whispered. You're alive. Anakin tried to smile. It hurt. Palpatine? Dead. You killed him. The Sith are gone. Anakin closed his eyes. It was over. He'd done it. But at what cost? Weeks passed. Anakin healed slowly. The council debated his fate endlessly. Some wanted him expelled for his secrets. Others wanted him made a master for his sacrifice. The arguments grew heated. Anakin didn't care. One evening, Padme visited him. She was radiant, her belly round with life. She sat beside him and took his hand. They're asking what you want, she said softly. The council, the Senate. Everyone wants to know what Anakin Skywalker will do next. Anakin looked at her, at the woman he loved, at the life growing inside her, and he knew. I'm done, Padme, he said. I'm done with the war, with the Jedi, with all of it. Her eyes widened. Anakin, I've given them everything, he continued. My childhood, my freedom, my body. I've fought their wars and carried their prophecies. And I almost lost myself. I almost lost you. He squeezed her hand. I don't want to be the chosen one anymore. I just want to be me. A husband. A father. A man. Padme's tears fell. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Days later, Anakin stood before the council. Obi-Wan was there. Yoda. The others. They waited for his decision. I'm leaving the Order, Anakin said simply. Not in anger, not in betrayal, but because I need to. I need to live. For my family. For myself. The room was silent. Then Yoda spoke. Understand? I do. Agree? I do not. But respect your choice. I will. Obi-Wan stepped forward and embraced him. May the Force be with you, Anakin. Always. Anakin walked out of the temple for the last time. Padme waited for him at the base of the steps. He took her hand, and together they disappeared into the Coruscant sunset. Months later, on a quiet planet far from the core, Padme gave birth to twins, Luke and Leia. Anakin held them, tears streaming down his face. He was free. The war was over. The Sith were gone. And for the first time in his life, Anakin Skywalker was simply happy.